Aditya.
Hey Shankar, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, I would say. The weather is the weather has become better here, so it's raining
Mhm.
of course. So overall good, very good.
Great. By the way, you had a nice T-shirt.
T-shirt. Thank you. Like actually, by the way, this T-shirt is like gifted by my father. He worked in army for 30 years, so
Mhm.
this was actually a gift from his like army defense ones to him, and then he like
Mhm.
forwarded this gift on to me on my birthday. So I would say, yeah, thanks to my father. Yeah, it's very comfortable, by the way. Yeah, you also have like good t-shirt or overall good, I would say, setup.
Yeah, it had been, 5 years I am wearing this T-shirt. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, great.
So, yeah, hey everyone. Uh, Today we have Aditya Koranga as a guest. So, we'll be doing a podcast around open source community and all those things. Let me quickly introduce myself. So I am Shankar. Those who are not aware, I am serving as a governing board member of Linux Foundation. And along with that, I'm also chief architect and co-founder of NgKore. So, and Aditya, I have known Aditya for past 4 years, and he had been a great friend and a great mentor and great open source leader as well. He is a co-founder of NgKore community, and he is the principal security architect, and he also served as a technical advisory committee representative for OpenSSL Foundation. And there are a lot of things about him. There are a lot of things about him. Yeah, we'll continue to the topic, right? So, Aditya, I recently noticed a fresh look of this NgKore community, right? It seems interesting and solid, and though it would be good idea to tell our audience about this, right? But before you describe the audience what NgKore is, and like I just want to know the story behind NgKore. Like there are a lot of other open source projects also. Why NgKore, right? Why we started NgKore, especially like what were the visions when the NgCore community was started?
Okay, that's a very good question, I would say. But first of all, thanks for the introduction. That was a lovely introduction, I would say.
My
Um,
pleasure.
yeah, thank you. So NgKore, this is like what we started back in 2022. When I say we, it also includes Shankar here. So we were like four, five other friends also. We were in like the same college. And then initially we didn't have like a very big dreams, very, for example, not such big dreams like the movies we see, we say Steve Jobs. We didn't have like these big of much of dreams, but we had few questions, and those questions were the basis of our vision. Were like in sort of trying to solve those questions, trying to get the answer of those questions. It like directly came up to the vision that we started NG Core with. So, and also we say it like India's first open source community. Although India says that it has other open source community, but in my honest opinion, I would say they're not completely open. When I say about open source foundation, the first idea that comes to my mind is Linux Foundation or CNCF. So that sort of open source community is not there in India at all. And now the and that was sort of the basis of our questions. So the first question that we discussed with our friends was India does not have a solid open source community. Not even solid, it doesn't have a open source community as such. and 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 we thought like other open source communities are there such as Linux Foundation, CNCF, ONF, and Apache foundations. These are some solid foundations, and these are the basis of open source. And how they work is they are backed up by government, backed up by industries. So there's a very good bridge between industries and academics and the researchers. That is how they are like going very forward. And in the recent years, we have also seen that India as a research is failing somehow, even though there are like some funds and all, but I don't see any good utilization of those. So that was the first question, not having a solid foundation, not having a good backed up system that is supported by government as well as the industries. And the second point that we wanted to address was, as a nation, we are very good at using open source projects, very good at. But when it comes to giving back, I don't see any major contributions. We are really good at using, but what have we given back to the community? So that was also idea. Let's try to give something back. And then we said, then when we were students, when we are in college, we basically call ourselves students. We are like students for our lifetime. We always like always try to learn from everyone, whether he's like age wise he's younger than us or older than us. So there was a pattern in the Indian colleges, governments, and all the research community. So I would say India as a nation has some really, really great raw talent. They are like great seekers. India is a land of seekers, great raw talents. They are technically so good. And I think if they get a good platform, they could lead the overall world in so many tech fields, you know, and they have good energy when they come to like college and all. But Shankar and me and personally our team have realized, and if you talk to any normal guy over India also, over any colleges, they would say the most of the energy that we can utilize over building something, over creating something, over giving something back, those energy is being utilized by the students in like self doubt, okay, and they don't have a good platform. They're like trying to waste their energy on like clearing exams, seeking jobs, and have a good safety around their jobs and career. And that's the main focus of them. Because as a country, when we say that we don't have a support system, even though they're like people like us, and most of the guy, we are just average people over like the university. We were like average people at that time and also this time. And in future also we will remain the average people. So we thought like we don't want to waste our energy on this. Why don't we do something around this? Okay, because in India you have people who just waste their energy in complaints. They waste their energy in like doubts and fears, job security, and it's by like they have this environment. That's the case. But we did but why this is the problem? Because we don't have a common support system, either from the family members, either from the government, either from the universities. So we usually have to choose this path. Okay, let's let's focus on our studies. This is what we have been doing from our schools. Let's focus on like trying to clear this exam. Let's prepare for this exam. Although we didn't have any good like personal choice about those, whether we didn't have idea, okay, this is something that I want to see. So we wasted on learning the schooling things. We wasted on learning, wasted on like preparing for the exams. We wasted 2 3 years. Then we got to our college. We wasted our energy on reading the textbooks and all. Just and then clearing for placements and all. So this was the common pattern overall, all India. And we wanted to give a good platform who can support people like us, students like us, who genuinely want to build something, genuinely want to fail, because failing is one of the greatest things. So we want to do research, we want to build, we want to fail instead of utilizing our thing or power and energy on doubts and job security. That's it. So that was the why can't we create a platform using NgCore? That was the idea. And then there is like great theory of cosmos. We always talk to each other like universe itself is very big, very, very big. And we are here, like the five of us, sitting on the corner, although we seem very insignificant, very small as compared to the overall universe. And it's genuinely the fact. And we didn't want to lose, we didn't want to like uh, lose our energy in doubts regarding money. Okay, we will do money and all. That was a very insignificant things. So we started doing building a bigger purpose in life. Let's give something of value back to the world. We don't have much time on this earth. If you genuinely look at the things, we don't have much time in the earth. So as much time if we have, why can't we focus on very most significant things and give something of value back to the world? So these were some of the questions that we try to address. And then we came up to, okay, let's try to solve these things. Let's give something technical. Okay, so when we say we were trying to solve these problems, there are several ways of solving that. But why technical? Because from a very good time, we were technically very strong when it comes to technology. So we said, let's choose this domain only because we are strong by default. And this, let's try to solve this problem by providing something technically strong that would improve the industry. So that was the vision behind NGKore. Sorry for taking too much of time, but that was some
I
of the,
mean, it's
yeah,
it's lovely, and I will say this is the harsh reality and the core truth of the things that are going on right now. It's like you have mentioned very you know good things. I would say for some of us it could be harsh, right? But it is the reality. What I also feel. Obviously, we are not like someone who had 20, 30 years of experience. We are just students still, as you mentioned, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, and one thing I want to say is that you claimed like NgKore is the first Indian open source community, which is a big claim, right? And it's not like it's a big claim. We have a lot of companies who are, I mean, organizations who are also, serving as open source communities and all those things. But you are right. When it came to giving back to the community, everyone is like, okay, it's not my thing, right? It's not my thing. I just want to take things and build things and set it in the production. Things work like this, right? So I mean, yeah, I can't agree more on like the things you have mentioned. These are really great. And what I want to comment here is like people usually follow you know, they will see one ship and another ship is going to follow them, right? The ship race is going. So yeah, this is the culture going on. And I remember in my days when I was not in the college. I mean, I was just in my secondary school, right? So I also was not aware about these open source things. I really do not know what Linux Foundation is, what other open source community is, right? I was not aware. The one thing that I feel is this awareness thing is one of the major factor why people follow the same path. They go for higher studies and they go for the you know jobs and they put all their efforts there, right? This is one of the major things. But nowadays it is growing more, the open source things are growing more, so we can maybe assume like we can see more things in open source community as well in future, right? But yeah, that's really great to hear all of this from you,
yeah.
right?
Because when you talk to like normal students, normal university students,
Mm-hmm.
when I take example of myself, how I appeared in college. So I was trying to do my bachelor's degree, and
Mm-hmm.
I said I searched over YouTube, and the YouTube people, and they're not very educated, I would say. And the first thing that they said was, when you do a bachelor's degree in computer science, then you don't get a good salary and all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to
Yes,
prepare for master's. So
right.
even when I didn't even join the bachelor's degree, I was like gathering the syllabus for master's, the preparation exam for master's, and I was focusing on this thing. I've been doing this my whole life in my school, and generally I felt a way of building something. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got to meet people like Shankar and all. We changed our align our visions, you know. What I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know, Shankar, like when you came to college, I think we met at a very initial days. What was your mindset about these things, open source, and what did you actually wanted to do when you initially joined the university? And then you passed the university. What ideas, change in the ideas came to your place?
Wow, that's a deep question. Actually, things at that time were very different, I will say. So I started my college and I was like, okay, this is a computer science degree. I'm not even doing the engineering thing, right? So there is not a lot of scope. It was in my mind, right? So what I was planning is I was considering this computer science as a secondary option. My primary focus was on pursuing some government job. I mean, it was the UPSC, I will say, right? So
Mhm,
at that time, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the UPSC throughout my the college journey, and the this computer science thing will be my secondary purpose, right? For to become financially independent for some time, right? But then in initial days, I met with people like you and Shubham and others, right? And I also got in touch with the Mr. Professor Vipin Rathi as well, who guided us like how things work actually in computer science. We always hear about computer science, computers, everything, but nobody knows about the core things which actually, happen in. It's not like you have to learn the DSA, the cloud computing. It's not about the technology first. You have to understand the market. You have to understand how things actually work. Why you need to, continue in this field. It's not only for money, right? It's about interest at the end. So after meeting him and people and like you, my perspective got changed, and I was like, I had some hope now. Like even though I was interested in computer science from starting of my 11th, right? But I was not sure if I can create a good future in this, or if even if I'm interested in this or not. That's why I was like, let me do the UPSC and take it as a secondary thing. But when I met people of the same mindset and got to know, okay, this is how like things actually work. It's not about the core tech. It's not about the money. It's not about the securing the future. It's about the you know, it's about some vision, right? It's about your interest, your vision, where you want to see yourself after 10, 15, 20 years, which stories you want to tell your children's and grandchildren's, right? So this is how it all started, I will say.
Yeah, I think the part of the vision that the point I missed was like we genuinely wanted to create such a wonderful life that we wanted to create such wonderful stories that we can tell to our grandchildrens. Because I don't want my grandchildren to say, "Oh, our granddad was a boring guy. He cleared the exam. He prepared. He studied, and all." So if we build something, we build a legacy around those things. Our
Absolutely.
grandchildren would have a genuinely good story to like pass on, to like understand, and to be like get the idea what are the things that we can do. Yes, that was
Right.
overall idea. It's a very we went very in depth around those things, but those were generally the emotional way we started these NgKore organization as.
Right. Right. And it's like one of the thing is what we do is we do comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy, right? Let's say there's a fish who always wish like if I could fly, and there is a bird who always wish if I could swim. So this is like what most people do. They want to compare themselves to others, and this is the main you know reason why we suffer from those crises and all those things. It's all about like what you love to do, right? What you enjoy to do, you have to do that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
you can't like compare the abilities of a tortoise with a pigeon with any bird. You know, that's a different thing. They have like good things about specific things that are related to them. So yeah, comparison, I wouldn't say like basically don't do comparison. Like easiest way I would say.
So yeah, great. Moving back to the open source community, which is this NgKore. So I want to know, like, now what actually is NgKore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was waiting for this question. So we have sort of answered the why NgKore, what were the visions and all. Now what actually is NgKore? So NgKore is like the answer of all the questions, all the problems that we're trying to solve. It's like a common platform for academics, researchers, or any individual that want to work on latest technologies, such as these days we are focusing on the main problems like quantum safe network. We are working on post quantum cryptography. eBPF is there, packet filter around these things. Then we have AI related things. Then we have advanced telecom where we do NTN, ORAN, 6G and others. And we have not like limited us to a very specific range. You know, we are working on very some deep tech things. PQC, eBPF, advanced telecom, blockchain is there, AI is there. So we want a platform where we can genuinely come together, all the industries also, all the researchers, academic also, work on this technological deep tech things and build a solution, open source solution, free of cost, that would genuinely the improve the condition of industry. Okay. And these are the things. And like in a very short way, if I answer this, in the starting days, we were like delusional college students who were trying to create some legacy. We were trying to create this platform. We wanted to help our university students, and not only to India, all all over the world have a platform, solve this problem. The youth, we can support them technically, we can support them mentally and financially. However, we ourselves like struggle a lot with money related things over NgKore. But
Agreed.
this is like, but still, we had this like saying that if a team is very strong, then money is a byproduct, you know. And
Wow.
even though at that time this thing can take time, but somewhere it's true. One of my great mentor has taught me this, and we didn't have much financial we were didn't like financially stable at that time, but still we were trying to help them, and still right now also we are trying to help them financially and technically. And because the best time to give someone is when we don't have it, right? That's actually when you find the value. Okay, so that was what NgCore is, and we want to be remain like very honest with our visions. So I hope I answered the question. A common platform where all the individuals, youth come together, work on some really deep tech things that the industry genuinely want. Because in other open source community or in other community, you generally you work on some not so great topics. You work on things that you like. Of course, it's a good thing, but we also need to work on the like market needs, what the industry needs. So that is open to like open source, non-profitable organization, NGO community built by some college students. And throughout the way, throughout these past 2 3 years, we have been joined by other people also.
Wow. I mean, NgKore is so what I can assume is like NgKore is not limited to one thing, right? You have mentioned the core tech, you know, the eBPF, the quantum safe things, the blockchain and AI ML, and I mean a lot of things. It's not like what I've seen is communities are limited to one thing, right? Which is not bad idea, but it's like what I usually see. So NgKore is, I mean, it sounds like it's too vast and it's very big, right? So we'll come to
And yep, and
yeah.
somewhere why we see it like first open source, because first of all, it's free of cost, all the softwares that we have built,
Mhm.
and we are the first one who are working on deep techs like these things. I don't see any open source community, even in India and outside India also. They're like specific, but not completely working on this PQC, eBPF, advanced telecom, and
Mhm.
also doing it very openly, all the commits. Other open source community, when we say in India, it's like more closed source. I don't see open at that sense. So that's why I always focus on the first open source community thing.
Yeah, I will totally agree in this. I've seen a lot of startups doing things particularly to one tech, but nothing is like open source. And even if it is not that broad. Your the Sanjipur had seems like it had broad visions. It's really good, and I think this is one of the thing that make it one of its kind, right? That
Yeah,
makes it
exactly.
different. Yeah. And another thing that I really like is the thing you mentioned that if you had strong team, the money is byproduct. I mean, lovely code. So, could you, yeah, could you explain more on this? I mean, this is really, attractive point.
Yeah. So throughout the period, what we have realized is when when the starting of open source was there, why people shifted from, for example, closed source x86 architecture to Linux. At that
Mm-hmm.
time they would have genuinely felt like closed source is something, it's not free of cost, and buyer and customer would buy it, so I will get the money. But throughout the time, what we realized is then came like Linus Star Wars and all those people. They did open source. There was the initial Linux, and that's how like overall community came together. All the strong people came and they built the solution free of cost, and they did it open source. And throughout the time they had such good community, such strong people. And then it was like so many sponsorship will come up front, looking at the initiatives, looking at the things. Okay, these people like mad people focusing on some building some very good advanced tech solutions. Why don't we support their initiatives? And when you do such big things, then money is, I think, very insignificant. you know Money is very
Mm-hmm.
very, I would say, not that much important, although it's important. I completely agree, but not that important because we have a vision that is more farther way beyond strongest in terms of strongness, right? And now you
Mhm.
see Linux, and even OpenSSL, it's completely open source, but so many sponsorships, so many companies are hiring their engineers. They're doing saying it like, "We'll give you money, you do open source." That's how I
Mhm.
say, and it goes on like a small level within the college students also in India. We were focusing on some really good things, you know. We weren't focusing on money at that time, and then we genuinely built a strong team. And I would say we didn't did very well financially even at this time, but we got support. We got people approached us. We some of the very big people, some of the very good open source leaders, and they somehow indirectly supported us. And that's why I also added the point. It takes time, but it's true.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, right. And also, you mentioned one more thing that the best time to give is when you do not have it, right? So this reminds me of the thing that whenever you want something, you have to give it first, right? So this is really good thing that you have mentioned.
Yeah, I know because what I have realized. Sorry, we are going a bit off topic every time, but
Yeah.
it looks philosophical. But I would say what I've realized is uh, some people who are like not financially that much rich look at someone else, they look upon someone else. Oh, I wish I was that financially stable, then I would have given money to other
Yeah.
people. And when you
Mhm.
come to those people always have to look upon someone else. If I was this much, if I had this much finance, I would give something to the community, to the world. And then you go to a level above, you see those people saying, if I was a millionaire, and then millionaire says, if I was a billionaire. So this step and ladders do not stop, never stop. So if you do it from a very small step, even if you don't have it, you know, I think if we genuinely don't need too much of finances to remain alive. uh, it's if we can do survive even without eating 1 or 2 day, I would say. but but I personally I heard this saying from Tony Robbins, and my grandfather somehow he didn't know about Tony Robbins, but he has this mentality over the time because we come from not so strong from a strong background. So we come from mountains, hilly areas over Uttarakhand. So in village, it was generally like the idea, give and take. Even if you're not doing that strongly well, but still try to give. You don't need too much of the resources.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know about like what you guys are doing in NGCO, and that's fascinating. So with this, I had another question for you, which is like, what do you want to achieve through NgKore? You are doing a lot of things around the open source community, and you're working on multiple core tech things, right? So what is your intention, and what is exactly the main goal that you want to achieve through NgKore?
Yeah. So when we say about any open source community, the first idea that we want to make it very mature as it goes to the level of like CNCF, Linux Foundation, ONF. So they're like some very good open source initiatives, and they're very professional and mature. I want NGCode to somewhere reach the same level and even like surpass them, of course. And how can we do this? We want like-minded people like you, like us, all over the country, all over the world, to come to us and then contribute to the projects that are under NgCore. And you also bring your ideas, of course, and then we'll see how can we proceed further. And then do a very solid contribution. Have like very professional meetings. For example, we have these monthly meetings, monthly technical advisory council meetings or committee meetings, like Linux Foundation organize or even OpenSSL do. And then we on those meetings we like collect the information from all the sub projects, and then sub projects itself have a weekly, bi-weekly meetings, and so that we can track the progress, and we can attract the other industry bodies and government bodies to help us support with the initiatives. Okay, and then create final goal is create some solutions that people can use free of cost, that genuinely can improve the condition of the industry, whether it's in sense of uh, uh, production ready, sense of how well its performance, what are the core problems it's solving, all those. And the main thing is we want to remain honest with our visions, because throughout the time we have realized that when it when we are facing some genuinely strong problems apart from the technical, then we sort out like somewhat tend to change our visions because of the current conditions. But in those cases, I think we need to zoom out a little bit. Okay, zoom out a little bit and look at our graph, from which point we started. We have reached this point. Although in 1 2 days we have gone a bit down, but do not forget about like our graph. So the thing we want to stay honest with our base visions, and help the youth, of course, help the youth, all the industry, like-minded people who have the ability to build something. That's it. We generally want to focus on the technical development and not want to suffer around financial condition, infrastructure, hardwares, and all. I see like NGCore to be there, and I want to achieve this in like next few years, because who knows when we will die, right? So right now, what I want to do is like our community to focus on to utilize our energy, to utilize their bandwidth on very important, significant things, because we have less time, and create something valuable that that holds value for us. That's the main achievement I would say for us will be.
Such a, I mean, great vision, I will say. So,
Yeah, we try to, yeah.
yeah, I mean, things you have told, what I can. So, you are working on main core technologies. You want to see NgKore at some global level, right? So, this NgKore community seems doing a lot of things, right? And what I feel is the important question is like how you maintained NgKore so far, because doing these things, spending a lot of time here and there, you need financial support as well, right? So how you managed doing all these things, being as a student and managing this open source community, and even though also working on your studies and for your jobs as well. So it's so fascinating, like how you managed NgCore. I want to know more about this.
Yeah, so initially we were like 5 people, 5 6 7 there were. And at that time we had like visions, how can we do this, we want to solve these problems, but we were sort of directionless, I would say, because we were not mature enough. And I think nobody is like experienced enough. It experience come and this maturity comes when you start the way, you start the journey, and along the way you learn different things. You say we failed this approach, let's try a different approach. So basically a mentality was strong, and that's the reason we were joined by other students from within our college. And we said, uh, let's create some projects, let's give some tutorials and demo that would help. We had like initiatives of some of the things that we were working on, like private 5G network setup, private 5G network. We were we were going in depth with some of the open source projects. We were like destroying their flow, like everything what it exactly is in the deep code. Then we did tutorial, we had some different hardwares. At that time we were doing good, but throughout the period, so some people like you and us, we work, and some of our folks who are the members or the founding members of this open source community, so we also do like uh, jobs, of course. Some do part-time jobs, some do full-time, some do freelancing as well, and we utilize some of the salary that we get. Okay, we are also open source leaders in so many cases, so some of the finance that we get from there, we we give some much, like few of the some of the amount back to the NgCore community. so that we can retain at least the hardwares, because we want our students, researchers, and individuals to develop things, right? At least the best we can do is give them hardware and tell them to play over it as much as you can. And then we are doing technical developments, so we have developers also, and we have to retain them. So that's what we are doing from ourselves. And then we had collaboration with some industry partners who at least gave us hardware support in some cases. But as of now, this is something that we are doing on our own. Uh, it's financially really, that's why I say like we are also financially struggling sometimes, you know. And the problem is we try to onboard some other people from different countries also. They approached us because, but at that time our maturity with the open source, the financially that we were thinking of is was not that strong, so we were not able to onboard them. So right now we are doing out of our pocket, but I think these initiatives should be like backed up by industries and the government at least. At least we are focusing on the deep tech, and I think we want our products or solutions, I would say, open source solutions, to be very mature.
Okay. That sounds scary. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and sort of do different things, not only give out of our pocket, that's the thing, but we on sidewise we do some other very interesting things that
Mhm.
helps us to support the
Okay.
infrastructure, I would say.
Oh, just yeah, this is good. And I mean, so with this question, I would like to add one more thing. Like, what were the major challenges faced by NGCore community? Like you mentioned this, financial things, right? Apart from this, what were the other major challenges you faced?
I mean, the major challenge was the same, retaining the infrastructure and retaining the developer, that part of
Hmm.
thing. But we sort of are like trying to solve those things, and somehow we survive. We pass on those things. Next thing is we we as a initiatives, we have been like ignored by industries, ignored by companies, because they think we are just like uh, we're like students, children's, very young generation. How can they do those sort of things? It's a very vague statement, I would say, but still, that's the mentality of some of the industry communities here in India. And this part of the reason there where they said like we could be scammers also. We could also scam because we are focusing on so many technical things. But there's actually a footprint. There's actually proof. You can go over our LinkedIn page. You can go over our YouTube things. We are doing there from last 3 years. So many documentation we have done, and we actually show what type of things we have done, what field are we focusing on, and how we do this. Everything is there, but still they think the same thing. And one pattern, one major problem I've seen is there are like 70 plus projects, 70 plus GitHub repository in NgKore GitHub page, 70 plus repository, and even more than that. But I genuinely don't see a very good amount of mature projects over there. You know, a mature projects when say it's production ready, let's say it's on the stage, but they're not that much of things because we somewhere lack resources. Okay, we somewhere don't have that much of support that the projects like Linux Foundation have. That is one major challenge. Hardware is there, of course. Uh, we have been ignored by them, and we even have helped like industries. We have helped companies a lot of times. But I would say not every time we have received something back on the favors that we have provided them, and that was one of the reason because throughout the time we were like 15 of the members, and eight of us left us because of some reasons, some everyone have to part of ways because of this job, and they had this initiative that they wanted to start because NGO as a open source community wasn't giving too much of the financial support, I would say. And vision conflict was also there, but these were some of the challenges, I would say. I want to We were not able to onboard some really good developers from outside the outside our country from India. We've been approached by different people outside India also to be a part of NGCore. We say, okay, you can contribute, but we can't officially onboard you. We're not that mature. We're not stable at the moment. And that was the main problems because as much as developers, as much as community members we can have, that much of a big success NGCore can have. So these were some of the major, and then there were some small problems that everyone have. But it's different.
I mean, the point you mentioned that you started with a few people and you were like 15 or 20 or whatever it is, and some of them left. I mean, it's hard to continue, right? Isn't it? It sounds, it's like you were expanding and then suddenly, obviously, because of multiple issues, multiple, financial things and whatever it is, they left and now you were like, haven't you feel like you were doing something wrong or it is not going good? What was the reaction and what was the emotions at that time when you faced these things? Because it is not an easy thing. I mean, it's easy to say, but it's not easy to tackle, I would say.
I think it's a very, say, very deep question, and answering it would take few more minutes, but I'll try to keep it short. Yeah, you can face these problems, of course, even in life, not as an open source community, but these are the life situations, and you have to sort of figure out a way. Let's say there are good things that makes you happy, and there are bad things that makes you sad. Okay, but as a life, I think you need to consider that all the feelings that you face, it's a part of life itself. And I think somewhere we were sent to this earth to experience these things, you know, to experience what it feels like to build something, what it feels like when that thing that you have built has crushed down immediately. And when we and it's a saying like, as a human being we look at world in a different way. As an animal you look at things in a different way. As a bird you look at things in a different way, but generally nobody knows what's the right way unless it's God. So it's a game of perspective. And how we have like moved past on that of that period is, I think, when you have a genuinely good goals purpose. Okay, we have this purpose of helping the youth, let's say helping country, representing India, and not only India, representing all over the world. Then you sort of don't give that much of focus to these things, remaining things like whatever life drama you have and all, whatever emotional drama you have. That's why focusing your, because like energy goes where attention flows, right? And I want your energy and attention to flow towards developing something, building something big, to have a good life purpose. And we are trying to solve those purpose and we want to focus completely on those things. Then we try to, okay, these are some emotional drama and all these things, and we don't want to focus that much on, you know have something in your life that says we want to build something, we want to give something of value, want to do something that is significant to us. And then you will sort of move forward on from those small life things that life throws at you. That's how we proceeded further.
Hmm, sounds good. I mean, personally, I would say it's not like at this age, when you are a student, you have to work on multiple things. You have to manage your this organization. You have to seek for expenses and all those things. And things suddenly fall on you in such a way. I mean, it requires a lot of, maturity and confidence and, the right people you work with so that they can support you, which is a great combination, I will say. And it's really, rare that you pop up with these things and, you know, continue again because it's not easy, right? I've seen uh, companies and startups failing due to this. People go and people come and people go and these things are fine, but it depends on like your maturity as well. Like if you're taking this personally or what you are thinking, right? And many people, lose hope at this point, but it's really a proud moment, I would say, that still you guys are working on it, somehow survived, and that's a great achievement, I would say. Apart from the technical things and all those things, I guess you had a good team, and you are maybe somehow mature, but seeing you seems too young, so that's hard to comment. But this
Yeah,
is good.
I think that somehow aligns with our last vision that we discussed. We want to have an interesting life, interesting story that we can share with our grandchildren. So
Okay.
that comes under that point only, you know. And
Hmm.
I think everything is drama. Like in life, everything is drama. You know, everything. You are the director of your drama, whatever you create. Whether you're doing a good thing, whether you're doing a bad thing, it's all drama at the end of the day. Everything is drama. So if everything is drama, why don't you direct a drama in a very positive way, in a very developing, in a growth way, you know? And then you focus there. That's why I say right now at this moment, we want to utilize our energy on the very significant things. We don't have much time. I personally believe I'm late by 5 years. At least as of now, I must have developed something very valuable, given something back as much as I imagined. So it's already too late. And when it's too late, I don't want to waste my energy on very less significant things. It's very judgmental, but things that holds value to me at this point, I would utilize my time there. And that very significant thing is NgKore. So
Okay, that's that's good. Uh, yeah. So we discussed about NgKore, what you want to achieve through it, and how the main like how you maintain NgKore and the challenges you have faced. So now it's time for achievements, right? What you consider some of the big achievements by NgKore within these 3 4 years, whatever you think, right? What are those achievements that you know that push you to move forward, right? What were those things?
yeah. So first of all, I think as of now, NgKore is the first open source community that is working on some major problems such as quantum threats. Okay, so we are the only Indian open source organization that is working on post quantum cryptography, quantum safe network, and if we do kernel level things. So we focus on eBPF. Okay, and we work on security along with PQC. We have done some innovations around blockchain itself. Right now, Shankar himself is leading the AI related things and the advanced telecom things. We almost do things, and you can see all those things in the NGCore website itself. This is a very strong LinkedIn page of NGCore. We have like shared everything that we have done so far. Everything is there. No, we have not kept anything closed source. You can see the tutorial videos we have been uploading from last 3 years that helps the developers, industries, researchers, and even government bodies to do the things that we are doing. So tutorial demos are there. And some of the major achievement I would say is we have this very mature project, XIBPF. It was sort of accepted as a use case project under Linux Foundation Networking, which is led by Shankar himself. He's the governing board member there. And we worked on quantum safe 5G core and ORAN. For this, we have been approached by Linux Foundation Networking and the ORAN Working Group 11. So I think it's itself is a very, because these organizations, these open source communities are led by some great individuals, great companies itself. So we have been approached by them to share the things that we have done, to guide them what sort of things they can do. And we have done like around things around shared socket and eBPF, which Satyam, one of our guy, lead those things, and this project have been endorsed by the isovalent community members. Very good things. And then we have this new thing that Kushi herself was leading, was GPU profiling with eBPF. She is doing the initial things, I think, and we have gained very good much of audience around that, and they genuinely want to contribute to it and are looking forward to what we make out of this project. And and we have different other we have been helping the industry to build their networks, build solve their problems, you know. And recently we had like collaboration with Ether community also, which was I think led by Shankar and Shubham. uh, so, so these are things we are working on. Other things also, you will see various other projects, various other things, various other ideas and blogs documentation around new ideas. So have a look, keep a good track of it. uh, Overall, we have been approached by other, as I've been like repeating again, some folks outside India to be a part of this NGKore community, and we have personally have been approached by different community members how they can contribute to it and how they can use their projects. Not only to open source, how they can use their project in the enterprise also. So these are some of the biggest collaboration and discussion we were having throughout these years. And I genuinely think it's a very good achievement for us. And hope to see like more collaboration, more industry bodies, more government who support our initiatives. That's what I would like to see.
It sounds like, wow. I mean, being NgKore is such a small or a big, or maybe I should not comment. NgKore is like it started in 2022, and you're saying that it is touching the big organizations. It's the Linux Foundation, the Aether community, the you know uh, multiple open source organizations who are working on multiple big things. So NgKore, I mean, I'm not sure how. Obviously, it would take time to explain the things, right? But this is really great. And I also seen like NGCore representing these communities at multiple events, right?
Correct,
Even though
correct, correct.
some of our events were held internationally, right? Where we represented NGCore more specifically with Linux Foundation, which is such a huge, community, I would say. And
Yes,
even
and
the
even
single thing,
one
yeah,
more initiative was there. Like we were also, I think, we also organized this Cloud Native Security India, even at the Google
yeah,
company, right? So I
yeah.
think that was also achievement. And this year also we did some of the things that you might know more about it.
There was a post regarding, I guess, you this organized this event with Courage
Hmm.
and Google
Yeah,
collab,
yeah,
right? Wow, this is a huge thing. Collaborating with Linux Foundation, reaching there internationally, collaborating with Google, organizing such events, and this is great. This is excellent, I would say. And seeing your achievements, like you are working as a tag member of the OpenSSL and those things. And NgCore is working, I mean, on a lot of projects, including this. We are working around Linux Foundation networking, Linux Foundation decentralized trust, right? And I mean, this is really good. Being a small and this community is doing a lot of big things, which even communities who are working from past 10 years are not able to achieve. This is such a great thing.
yeah. And
Uh,
one of the greatest achievement that I forget to mention was even after having so many ups and downs, we're still there. We're still grinding hard. We're still trying to uh, bring some growth over NgCore, even though many people left us throughout the journey. But many will come, and we ourselves are together, and we will continue to bring the best out of NgCore. That is, I think, that is the best achievement so far for us.
yeah, you got a, I mean, really good team, I guess you want to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks to me.
yeah.
Good.
Right. And I mean, I can talk a lot about technical things like you mentioned about post quantum, quantum safe things, EVPF, which I mean there are very rare people who are working on these things. More specifically in India, you will find it nowhere, right? And I can talk about these things, which are, I mean, it will be more technical. So I do not want to stretch this podcast into that. Maybe we can talk about these things later in separate one. But
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things are really great and awesome. I mean, very, very good job. So yeah, so like this is yeah. So this is really great. So let's summarize the you know session and just one more question. Like, um, is there any some kind of short message for the audience, for the community? Like, how can the audience or the open source community help NgKore to grow? I mean, I personally want to see NgKore at such a you know top notch place, right? Like, I want you to share a very, I mean, do not take too much time, keep it short, and yeah.
Okay. So first of all, as every open source community says, come help us, contribute to our projects that are under NgKore. Bring your ideas. It's not just that we are giving some ideas, we are solving some problems. This as a platform is open to all. Share your ideas. We'll see how we can proceed further, and let's see. Let's make our projects more mature. Like bring more like-minded people like us who genuinely want to solve the problems and can relate to our visions and the question that we started NGO with. And maybe government bodies or some industry partners can sponsor the initiatives that we are working, because it's sometimes it's tough to like retain the developers and retain the infrastructure cost while developing at the same time. So we don't want to worry about these less significant things, the money related all things, even though it's important, but we want our focus to be completely developing on the deep tech things. These are some things, and come help us with the initiatives. I think we can do more collaborations. So if you are a university, you are individual, you are a company, you are a government body, collaborate with us, and we can work on some combined projects, and let's see how. And we want to make it completely open source and free of cost. So if that is something you also share the same vision to keep everything open source, having free of cost materials and learning things, and we are always happy to help, and come guide us, of course. We are a great listener and students, whether you are like 10 years younger than us or 10 years older than us. Come guide us. That's all. I Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you, Aditya, for this wonderful session. And we have covered a lot of things about open source communities and NgKore and their intentions. And obviously, somehow we went off topic. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but really great session. And I would love to, do such more podcasts in future with you and other teammates
Yes.
also.
Yes, of
So,
course.
yeah.
It's sometimes
And
it's hard to like bring all the people at the same time because of the busy schedule, but we'll try
yeah,
to cover all the things. But and I would
yeah,
also love to know more about your vision, maybe in some other podcasts, and keep things more technical if that is what the audience wants. We can do all type of things.
sure. And yeah, with this, I would like to summarize by saying congratulations to you and the whole NgKore community and open source community. And I hope I will see you somewhere doing some great things with NgKore. And yeah, that's really great. And for the audience, I will say by helping him means indirectly by helping the community, right? Just go and contribute in open source and see what NGCore is doing. If it aligns with your goal, just contact them and start doing something great, right? Just for the
Yes.
sake of telling stories to your children's or grandchildren's in future. So
Yeah.
with that, yeah, let's take a bye because we are out of time right now, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care.
Thank you.